What's up, Michigan? Welcome back to another segment detailing this week's State Champs Anvil Award update presented by Hungry Howies. I'm Lorne Plant. This is Ron Talley, and here we are, Ron. Rubber meets the road, week 9. It is the final week of the regular season. There are trophies being exchanged, but ultimately, our list, our candidates have the highest prize in mind, and that, of course, is to get to Ford Field and compete for a state championship.
You have some serious powerhouses that are getting ready to face each other, and those trophies are more than just that piece of gold or silver or whatever it is. It's immortality, it's greatness, it's competition of the best versus the best, and that's what this is all about at the end of the day. It's a team sport, and hopefully, you know, whoever the Anvil Award winner is and whoever the finalists are, they'll be very apparent in these big games.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also about bragging rights. You know what I mean? You want to look back and know that I gave it my best and we took care of business. So in order for us, if you're new to the Anvil Award, if you're new to Mr. Football, we use a similar criteria. And basically what that means is we've got 5 categories that we kind of rank our players, and that is how we determine the Final Four and ultimately who will be this year's Anvil. So you can always see the criteria by going to the website, statechampsnetwork.com, click on SC Awards, click on the Anvil page, it's right there in the description. We're going to talk about it right now. First, 30% of your ranking goes to performance throughout the season. This is important because obviously you need to be consistent all year long.
The best of the best stand out. And, you know, film is silent, but it speaks the loudest. So however you perform consistently, big games, beginning of the season, middle of the season, you know, it tells a complete story just like writing a book. And it's your book of your season in your performance. So that does mean the most.
Yeah, absolutely. And you need to get up for every game. If we look and see that your team, let's say, got beat by a certain amount of points, we look back and boy, it's like, wow, you know, where we're used to seeing you dominate, it looked like you were just kind of going through the motions. That doesn't fly high here with us. 20% is level of competition, and we think this is important. You know, there are guys who, and again, this is no shade on the players themselves. This is just saying you happen to play in a league that is highly competitive, and as you went through the playoffs, you had to go through the gauntlet. We want to reward those guys with a little bit more in terms of percentage.
Indeed, because the cream of the crop always rises, and that doesn't mean that you always win. That means that you played great competition, and your losses should be lessons to increase the level of play that you have, especially going into now. When you go into the playoffs, your previous season doesn't matter, because if you lose that one, you're going home. But if you're the best, and it shows as a team, then it could only increase your level of play individually. So we do want to recognize whoever that guy is or whoever those guys are, you know, as great big pieces that show up consistently for their team.
Absolutely, and what makes our award stand out over all other, you know, Player of the Year awards or what have you, is that we award percentage points to those who get the most votes. So as you know, we run a competition all season long. We ask people to weigh in and vote for their guy, regardless if some guy is way ahead, let's say like in our Anvil competition. That doesn't detract the Justin Bell vote, as his has just been climbing steadily each and every week. That shows that the people are investing in him, and so 20% of the online vote, meaning the online vote winner, number one, if you win the online vote, you're automatically in the Final Four. But number two, you have a 20% chance to beat everybody else. And that's just how we do it.
I love it because, you know, when you go to a game and you think about high school football and you see those crowds filled up and you hear the cheering, that's school pride. That's culture. You know, football is a big enabler of culture. It pushes you forward. So that is a big deal. Bringing people to vote means everything. Bringing people together at State Champs means everything for these guys to win the award. So everyone can jump in and help their, you know, favorite defensive or offensive lineman.
And I guarantee you, as we choose the final 3 candidates outside of our award winner, our voting award winner, we will look and see, hey, what kind of support did they get from the people? And that does weigh in. So the next two categories, I'm just going to tie together real quick just for the purpose of time here. 15% goes to big game performance. 10% goes to team success. Obviously, big games, playoff games, league championship games. How did you do in those games? That matters, and that should matter. And 10% goes, hey, if your team rises to the challenge and plays more games than our other guys, your team success, we don't put a huge percentage amount, just 10%, but it matters.
Winning matters, period. And those individual players must show up in the big games. Otherwise, how can you say you are the best? How can you think you are the best? And how can the people believe and approve of you being the best? And then how can you gain our votes as well when we're sitting there? Because the competition in Michigan is very serious in 2024.
Absolutely. And finally then, 5% goes to the highly recruited athlete. And the reason we put a percentage on that is these are people who are answering to more than just their high school football coach. There are college football fans for those who are considering getting this guy's talent. So they are putting pressure, whether it be on social media, whatever. College coaches who are looking at these players. Anyway, there's just, like yourself, there's just a little more pressure, we think. And not only that, these guys put the weight of the team on their back because they say, I'm expected to be a huge standout player from which that's going to lead to more success.
Indeed. You're getting double teams.
Right.
You're getting triple team. The ball is going the opposite way. You know, they're trying to blitz more guys in your gap. They're trying to stay away from you. So if you're able to still show up, get near the ball, if you're still able to show up and get your block and be that pulling guard, knowing that, you know, they're coming underneath and they're bringing another one outside, then hey, you know, your impact is felt. But did you perform at the end of the day? Are you a plus player?
All right, well, here's how it's going to shake out. So we are going to take this voting competition right up until about the state semifinals. Just before that, we're going to have our conclusion. We will crown our champion in the online voting award part of this particular campaign. And then, of course, following state semifinals, we'll pick our final four, and then we will choose our champion after the state championship game. So lot of time still left to get in your vote. And, of course, good luck to all of our candidates. We wish you nothing but the highest success level that you can reach with your team this year. And we'll see how things shake out. We'll see you next week.